Hi, my YouTube people. How are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's a lovely day here in the neighborhood. It's a lovely day here in the neighborhood. Will you be mine? Thank you for being here, you all. I am Lamarr Townsend. I am a psychic, an energy channeler, a tarot reader, and an astrologer. And I do personal readings. So if you would be interested in a personal reading, please do not hesitate to reach out to me via my website, lamarrtownsendtarot.com. This is where you can view all the rates, services, and products that I offer. This is my website. So once you reach this page, you know you're on the right page. I do have quite a lot of other social media platforms. So follow me on my Twitch, my Patreon, where I do a lot of videos like this one I'm going to do today on YouTube, where I just kind of talk about knowledge, things I know about astrology, spirituality, tarot. It's like a class. I do a lot of classes on my Patreon. So if you're interested in videos like this or, other things, then definitely become a member of my Patreon. Thank you to all my Patreon members. Of course, check out my podcast on Spotify, Google, Anchor, and more. You can also scroll down and view reviews from people who have verified purchased readings from me. And then, of course, you can follow me down here on my Facebook and Instagram as well. If you would like a reading, you would go directly to the store section of my website. Once again, this is where you would go to view all the rates, services, and products that I do offer. Please make sure you read all descriptions and details and directions so that you know what's expected of you after you purchase your reading. I have so many people, for some reason, who purchase readings and then email me right after and are like, so what do I do next? And I'm like, everything that you're supposed to do next is literally right there on the website. So for example, if you were to purchase an hour phone reading, which I just got done doing an hour phone reading just maybe about 10 minutes ago, you would read the reviews. It says, please scroll down and read, or you would read the directions. It says, please scroll down and read all descriptions and directions before you purchase. So it says here, for example, after you've made your payment, please email me at lamarr.townsend@gmail.com with your contact information and the times you are available to chat, and I will get back to you within 24 hours, all right? So everything you need is literally right there on the page in terms of what the next step is after you purchase your reading, purchase your class, purchase your product. And like I said, I do quite a lot of different things. I do psychic tarot readings. I do birth chart readings. I do compatibility birth chart readings. I do individual birth chart readings. I do past life readings. I do also dream interpretation readings. I do mediumship readings if you want to connect to your ancestors and spirit guides. And I do candles. I do astrology classes, tarot classes, spiritual development classes. I also do so much more. I sew things. I make jewelry. I didn't make this, but I did make this bracelet, for example, just as an example of the type of jewelry I make. I made this bracelet. All right, so which I think I actually may wear. All right, so yes, check out my website for all these different types of things. Like I said, I am available for readings, classes, candles, all different types of things on my website, and I'm actually really good at getting my stuff back to you all in a timely fashion. So for example, if you purchase an email reading or video recorded reading, I will most likely have that email reading or video recorded reading sent back to you within 1 to 3 days or less, depending on how busy I am. All right. So thank you all for being here. In this video, I'm going to be talking about understanding numerology and why numbers are so important, and the fact that it's a kind of an unknown secret that the reality of life is, and human beings, and life in general, is that numbers and astrology and the planets secretly rule our lives to a pretty large degree that I feel like, don't even sometimes understand or recognize. And I'm going to teach you that through numerology today. And the interesting thing about numbers is that they can be decoded and interpreted and understood in many different ways from many different perspectives, much like a language. I always say in a lot of my videos where I talk about numerology and stuff like that, that numbers are literally a language. It's like a second language or a different type of language, whereas like you could say hi in English, but you could say hi, the same thing, in Japanese and Spanish and all different types of different languages, right? So it's like getting to the same ultimate reasoning or understanding or purpose or concept of something, but having a different pathway or journey. That's kind of like what all of these interpretations of numbers can be, because there's angel numbers, there's numerology, there's life path numbers. I mean, numbers are a big thing when it comes to spirituality and understanding, you know, the spiritual reasonings behind a lot of things. I mean, how many times have you seen 111 on the clock, or 1111, or 222, or 333, or 444? Numbers have a deep meaning, and I have a lot of videos on this. The way that I read tarot, if you've taken a tarot class with me, and many of you have taken tarot classes with me numerous times, so you'll get like a first class where I teach you the full basics of how to read tarot in terms of how I read it. But then a lot of times, a lot of you will come back to me for like, you know, touch up or practice. And the biggest part that I feel like sometimes trips up people is the numerology and astrology aspect of things, because it's all numbers and I'm just a numbers person. So the way I read tarot can be so confusing. Like when people see, it's like the Wizard of Oz. When people see behind the veil, like, you know, it's like, oh, for most people it's like, oh, this is it, really? But when people see behind the veil in terms of how I read tarot, people are like, oh, this is it? Oh my God. It's like, you know, it's a lot. And a large part of that is numerology and astrology. So we'll be getting into the numerology aspect of things here, but you can also apply this, because I apply this in my tarot classes. You can apply this aspect to tarot as well. And I'll kind of get into that a little bit. But if you want a tarot class, I do tarot classes as well. Just know that if you get a tarot class with me, we will be talking about astrology and we will be talking about numerology as well, because that's how I read tarot. We have a cat that wants to make an appearance right now. My cat, Fonzie. He hates being picked up. Oops, sorry. Fonzie. Fonzie. Are you gonna let me do this video? Okay, great. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into the video, you all. I just want to... start from number 1. So we're going to start from 1 and go all the way to 10. Now keep in mind that the way that I view astrology or view numerology is based on the concept that, you know, in astrology, typically it goes from 1 to 9. Alright, so number 10 is typically not considered in numerology, because it's really a combination of 1 and 0, which if you take away 0 is back to 1, which makes sense in the concept of tarot, which I'll get into. I know it's confusing, but this is the way my mind thinks. This is the way I teach classes. I know it's a lot of information. I tell you in class, I'm going to teach you a lot of information. I hope you have a notebook, alright? My cat just got on my windowsill, so... He loves being on camera, but not the center of attention on camera, which is interesting. He's a Scorpio, by the way. So just keep that in mind, that the way I read numerology is based in the concept that certain numbers are ruled by certain planets. Alright, but at the same time, I also do read numerology, or understand numerology based on tarot, and the fact that there are 10 suit cards, which in typical fashion, you know, in typical tarot, like a Rider-Waite tarot, would be the wands, the 1 through 10 wands, cups, swords, and pentacles. So if you understand tarot, number 1 in tarot is typically the ace, number 2 is the 2 of wands, 2 of cups, 2 of blah blah blah, and then you go all the way to 10. So alright, so just kind of getting that brief description out there, but let's go ahead and get right into the understanding of the numbers and their ruling planets and zodiac signs. So what number are you ruled by? What number rules your life? Alright, what planet rules your life? We'll figure that out right now. Let's start with number 1. Number 1 in numerology is actually associated and ruled by the sun, which is the zodiac sign Leo. Number 1 in tarot is associated with the aces. Once again, so this would be the Ace of Wands, Ace of Cups, Ace of Swords, Ace of Pentacles. The traits of number 1 are typically new beginnings. It can be creativity. It can be change. It can be movement. It can be action. It can be taking action. It can be an offer coming through in some way, shape, or form. All right. So when you see number 1 or anything that breaks down to the value of number 1, this could be what Spirit is trying to tell you, the universe is trying to tell you in some way, shape, or form. Maybe there's some new beginning coming around the bend. Maybe you need to take some sort of action in some way, shape, or form. Maybe there's an offer, around you that you're considering, and you see number 1, or some sort of numerical sequence that breaks down to number 1 could be like a confirmation of what you're thinking or feeling. So that's what you typically see, or is the basis or understanding of number 1 in numerology. All right. Number 2 is in numerology is ruled by the moon, the zodiac sign Cancer. So this would also be the two in tarot as well. So 2 in terms of the moon is associated with emotions, your intuition. It does deal with trust. It can deal with the mother or family as well. These can all be traits of the number 2 in numerology. So when you see the number 2 or any numerological sequence that breaks down to the number 2, then this could be the theme, or the symbolism, or the message that Spirit is trying to convey to you once again. Now keep in mind as well that like I said, there's a life path number. So your life path number, for example, my life path number is number 5. So in terms of numerology, the theme of the number 5 is also typically most likely themes that I will experience in my own life. See how like those little details of numbers can be so intricate? All right, let's move on to number 3. I get excited about this kind of stuff. All right, I actually think I might do a new numerology class. Let me know if you would get a numerology class from me. I guess this is a numerology class basically, but we can go more in depth. All right, number 3 is ruled by in numerology is ruled by the planet Jupiter. And number 3 is associated with the zodiac signs Sagittarius and Pisces. So this would be, number 3 traits would be traits of truth, fun, adventure. It can be also maybe taking on new skills, taking a chance, taking a risk. Number 3 is about optimism. It also having that Pisces influence can also be about spiritual influence. It can also be about, maybe the need to keep something secret or more private. Which can be in contrast to Sagittarius, which Sagittarius can be very open. Number 3 can also be about knowledge, higher education, higher learning. So number 3 can also be the energy of maybe there's something more you need to learn or understand or kind of refine in order to really get to the next level, right? So that can be also, number 3 can be about good luck. Jupiter is known as the joy bringer, so it brings joy. All right, so when you see the number 3, you can that can be good luck. Number 4 is Uranus, which is number 4 is ruled by the planet Uranus in numerology and is associated with the zodiac sign Aquarius. So when you see the number 4, this can be associated with unexpected change. It can be associated also with technology, social media, the internet, social groups, friends, acquaintances, things of this nature. It can also be associated with fast movement. All right, so whenever you see the number 4, these are things that it could be associated with. Maybe the number 4 is kind of also associated with humanitarianism, giving back. All right, so, and I'm a big believer in that. I'm spiritual, so when it comes to petitioning your ancestors and spirit guides, it's like you get something from them in terms of them helping you to manifest, but then you have to give back, and you give back, of course, to your ancestors and spirit guides by giving them offerings, leaving water on their altars, leaving maybe some food on their altars. Although I'm really particular about bugs. So when I put food on their altars, I tend to put it in my Tupperware, my glass Tupperware stuff. Anyways, that's just me. But it's about giving back. That's number 4. So number 4 can be about giving back. Maybe you need to give to receive, all right? And so number 4 can be about these types of things. Number 4 can also be about, like, moving on fast. Like I said, like rapid pace, rapid movement. So, when you see the number 4, it could be like, kind of spirit saying, okay, let's move on. Let's, keep the pace going, kind of thing. All right. Um, Number 5, which is my ruling life path number. All right, number 5 is numerology is ruled by the planet Mercury, and therefore is associated with the zodiac signs Gemini and Virgo. All right, so number 5, when you see number 5, can be associated with organization, communication, miscommunication. It can be associated with retrograde energy, so mishaps, things out of your control. It can also be associated with your work, your job, your health. Number 5 can also be associated with the mind, intellect, things of this nature, your daily routine, your need to maybe get organized. It also can be associated with self-improvement. So number 5 can mean a multitude of things. All right. Number 5 could mean also pay attention to what's coming next. All right. Like there's more that's meant to come in terms of communication. Number 5 could literally be like your spirit guides, your angels, your ancestors, the universe, coming through. It's like, hey, it's like the message, the pre-message before the main message, kind of thing. It could also mean that maybe there's a need to get more organized, focus on your sense of self-improvement right now. Number 5 could also be the energy of like, say what you're thinking or say what you feel, kind of thing, like communicate. Just say it. All right. So it can be a lot, that comes with number 5, but as a number 5 life path, there can be a lot that comes with me as well. So I think we go along well together. Number 6 in numerology is one of my favorite numbers because it's ruled by the planet Venus and is associated with the zodiac signs Libra and Taurus. So number 6 is associated with all the things we love, such as love. It's also associated with relationships. It's also associated with money, how we make our money, how we spend our money, what we find value and entertainment in, and things of this nature. It also rules marriage, and it rules all types of relationships, not just, love relationships and marriage relationships, but also friendships and, just people that we value in terms of a one-on-one close connection. All right, so number 6 is one of my favorite numbers to see because it typically may mean some money is around the corner. All right, I don't know why my camera is so dark. There we go again. We're back to light. It could be there's some coin around the corner. Could mean that there's a good connection around the corner. Maybe someone's going to come through and I'm going to make a good connection. Maybe it's a client. Maybe it's a friend I haven't talked to in a while, but I love to see the number 6. It's one of my favorite numbers. Number 7 is ruled by the planet Neptune and is associated with the zodiac sign Pisces. So what you'll see often with numerology is that sometimes zodiac signs are repeated because some zodiac signs are ruled by dual planets, all right? More than one planet. So when it comes to the number 7, 7 is associated with Neptune. So 7 is associated with procrastination. It can be associated with spirituality, spiritual influence, because Neptune is spiritual connection. It can also, number 7, be associated with daydreaming, escapism, all right? It can be associated with sneaky behavior or secrets, something like that. The need to set boundaries with oneself or other people. It can also be the need for solitude, privacy. It can also be, like I said, spirit coming through with the message, all right? So with number 7, like the number 7 is a kind of energy where if I spiritually feel something, like say I get a premonition and then I see the number 7 not too long after, I'm like, that's spirit. That was spirit. If for whatever reason, because even though like tapping into spirit and being spiritual and well, not really being spiritual, but I guess spirituality and talking to spirit is my job. It's what I do. It's what pays my bills. What also brings me joy. But at the same time, there's this sometimes where even though it's something I do on a daily basis and it's a part of my daily lifestyle, not in just terms of my profession, but my actual life, personal life. There's times where I still have a little bit of doubt. It's like, okay, like I hear you, spirit, but I just don't know. Like you're I know you're most likely 100% you're right, but in my human form, I'm still struggling a little bit and may need just a little bit more like confirmation or clarity. And then bam, I see number 7. I'm like, got it. All right. So number 7 is also probably one of my favorite numbers because it's just so spiritual. Number 8. Number 8 is ruled in numerology is ruled by the planet Saturn and is therefore associated with the zodiac signs Capricorn and Aquarius. So number 8 is associated with hard work. It can be associated with restrictions, rules, regulations, limitations. It can also be your professional destiny, your status in life, your career. It's also karma, the past. It can be time. All right, then you need to be patient, as well as father or fatherhood energy, the father side of the family. So number 8 can be a very self-disciplined, serious number. Like whenever I say number 8, like, you know, or any numerological sequence that breaks down to the number 8, to me that means it's time to get serious, buckle down, you know, do what I need to do, maybe put my emotions or feelings aside or thoughts aside and just get the job done, you know, the task done ahead. Whether it means cleaning out my closet, whether it means doing a reading, filming content, whatever it is for me, it's like when I see 8, it's like, you know, do it, get it done, move on. All right. Um, with that Aquarius influence, it can also mean unexpected change. Friends, acquaintances, social groups may also play an effect in some way when you see number 8 as well. All right. Number 9, we're getting down to the wire here. Number 9 in numerology is associated with the planet Mars and is therefore ruled or is associated with the planets or with the zodiac signs Aries and Scorpio. All right, so when you see number 9, it can be about the self. All right, Mars is about self, your self motivations, how you express your raw energy, your self image, how you see yourself, how others see you, you know, how you feel when you look in the mirror, how you go about getting what you want, and things of that nature. All right, so number 9 can be like a self made energy. Like, you know, like it's time to do something for yourself, just do it. You don't need the backing of anyone behind you, like, you've got all the strength you need. Number 9 can also be an overabundance of energy with that Mars influence. It can also be sexual energy, all right, and self-focus, like I was saying. Very masculine because Mars is associated with masculinity, right? Whereas Venus is associated with femininity. As well as the moon can also be associated with femininity too. Number 9 can be a go-getter energy. It can be issues letting go of the past. All right, it can be hauntings, maybe, or maybe you need a spiritual cleansing, possibly. You have a lot energetically that's kind of repressing you or something like that. It can also be slightly PTSD, maybe there's something from the past triggering you in the current moment. Mars can also be, like I said, like that go-getter energy. Go and get what you want. Just go for it. You know, like you are the right fit. You have exactly what you need to get what you want. All that's missing is you taking that action, you know, and dominating the scene. All right. Lastly, number 10 in numerology. Number 10 in numerology is interesting because, like I said, typically numerology doesn't go to the number 10. It's just 1 through 9. But because I read tarot through numerology and astrology, and tarot goes all the way up to number 10, I had to find a way to make sense of the number 10 and also fit it in line with numerology and the way things are structured in terms of numerology and astrology, you know, because like I said, you know, these are officially the ruling planets of all of the numbers. So I was like, I have to find a way to make it make sense for me, but also if I'm teaching others that makes sense for them. Because like when I read tarot, you know, this is typically the energy I see or get when I see the number 10, because if we think about it, 10 is just number 1, which is the sun, all right, and number 0, which we will get into in a second, all right? So, number 10 for me in numerology is the north node and the south node. All right, now if you don't know what the north node and the south node is, basically the north node and the south node are 2 placements that everyone has in their natal chart. All right, and they're basically, I think, the polarities of the planets, where they are at the time. And the north node in numerology is associated with your current life's purpose. The North Node is associated with your blueprint for why you come into this lifetime, what you're meant to achieve, which, if you think about it, is also a connection to the sun, which is the number one in numerology, because the sun in astrology is also associated with your life purpose, your creativity, things of this nature. So, like, I always see the North Node as that number one, but the South Node is your past life, what you bring from your past life into your current lifetime. So for me, the South Node is that zero. Because in this current lifetime, you're starting at one, but essentially you're also starting from that zero before you were even born. You still have those imprints of those past lifetimes you've lived and those habits from those past lifetimes. So that's, to me, is the explanation of number 10. Number 1 would be that North Node, which goes back to, number 1 is your purpose in this lifetime, why you come into this lifetime, what you're meant to achieve, what you're meant to learn, what you're meant to experience. That's like, going back to the sun. In astrological birth chart readings or natal chart readings, you'll often hear astrologers like myself say, the North Node, the rising sign, and the sun sign are all kind of like integral to one another, because they all play a part in you, kind of achieving your goals and aspirations. They also play a part in how others see you, and things of that nature. So, whenever you see a 10, all right, it can be associated with success, your life purpose. It can be associated with being maybe in alignment with your life purpose or out of alignment, because if we think tarot, there's the good 10 cards, such as the 10 of Cups usually, or the 10 of Pentacles, and then there's those 10 cards where it's like, such as the 10 of Swords or the 10 of Wands, all right, a good and a bad. It can also be associated with the past life energy. It can also be associated with generational curses. Now, if we know anything about generational curses, I talk about this in class as well. Generational curses are basically trauma passed on from one generation to the next. Alright? Now, the interesting thing about generational curses is that sometimes they can come from the direct lineage in terms of the mom, the dad, the grandma, the great-grandfather, the grandfather, and things of that nature, but also they can come from past lives as well. Alright? So that's the basis of numerology. I know it's a lot of information. Imagine taking a class with me. You better have your notes, alright? Because I definitely have mine with me. Alright, here. Alright, these are all my notes I have here. So, alright, you guys. Like I would say on Patreon, if you're a Patreon member, class is over. Thank you all for listening and watching. Do consider becoming a member on Patreon, because I do a lot of videos like these where I just teach you all. I talk about the knowledge and things I know about spirituality and, just all different types of topics. I teach you a lot. So thank you for listening and watching. Let me know what your ruling number is in terms of numerology, in terms of your sun sign, maybe in terms of your life path. For me, my life path ruling number is number 5. So my life path would be Mercury energy. For me, in terms of my sun sign, in astrology, I'm a Capricorn. So my number in terms of my sun sign would be number 8. All right. So very, very interesting. And then we could we could break it down even further. Like, what's your number for this? What's your number for that? Numerology is so fun. I love it. Alright, you guys, thank you for listening and watching. I do have other videos on numerology as well. Check out my video where I talk about numerology and Nikola Tesla. Actually, speaking of Nikola Tesla, check out my Patreon where I just did a conversation with him about advancements in medicine. So there's always interesting conversations as well going on over my Patreon. So thank you all for listening and watching. I will see you in the next video. I will see you in your own personal reading. Either way, I am sure I will see you soon. Thank you all so much for your support of my YouTube channel. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Make sure that you do check out my website. And also be sure to follow me on my Instagram, my Facebook, my TikTok, my Twitch. Follow me as well on my podcast, which is available right now on Spotify, Apple, Google, Anchor, and more. And remember, I am available for personal readings. Right now, my books are pretty open. I think I have one client that I have to do a reading for, but I'm just actually waiting on them to send me the necessary information to do their reading. So it's not just because of me or anything like that. So like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm really good at getting back quickly to you all when it comes to your readings. You know, if you have experience with that, let me know in the comment section below. You know, like what your experience has been with getting my readings back to you all, your readings back to you all after you've paid. You know, so thank you all for listening and watching. Thank you for your support. I will see you in the next video. I'll see you in your own personal reading. Either way, I will see you soon. Love and light. God bless. And until the next one.